Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to Huna Stories. The night my mother told me to get out, she didn't raise her voice at first. She just put her teacup down harder than usual. "We're not your bank anymore," she said. Calm, controlled. "If you can't stand on your own feet, you shouldn't be here." I remember staring at her hands. They were steady. That's what stayed with me. No shaking, no tears, just certainty. It would have made sense if I had been asking for money. I wasn't. I had moved back into the family house temporarily after expanding my firm into the city. It was practical, close to meetings, close to them. I paid for renovations while I was there, covered utilities, upgraded the security system, quiet things, structural things. None of it was discussed. It was simply absorbed. Somewhere over the years, my financial success had turned into something unspoken. I was the responsible one, the one who could handle it, the one who never complained when requests came wrapped in urgency. School fees for a cousin, a temporary car lease for my father, investments that weren't really investments. Each time it was framed as family, and I believe that meant reciprocity. That night, though, my mother's words were clear. "You depend on us." It would have been easier if she had accused me of being selfish. At least that would have matched the reality. Instead, she flipped the story. I didn't argue. I didn't list receipts. I didn't defend myself. I just said, "Okay." That seemed to irritate her more. I left the next morning, not dramatically. I packed 2 suitcases, sent a message to my assistant to extend my lease downtown, arranged movers for the rest. No one stopped me. My father hovered in doorways but didn't speak. He never did when the temperature rose. He preferred silence. It had preserved him for decades. By afternoon, I was in my new apartment, overlooking the river. Quiet, neutral, mine. The first night alone, I felt something unexpected. Not anger, relief. Relief that I didn't have to anticipate the next small favor. Relief that dinner conversations wouldn't drift toward budgets that somehow ended with my name. Still, there was guilt threaded through it. I had always been the stabilizer, the one who made sure no one fell too hard. Walking away felt like betrayal, even though I hadn't taken anything. 2 days later, my phone buzzed during a board review. It was from the family's fund manager. Formal, polite. "Good afternoon. As per standing instruction, please confirm approval for the $28,000 monthly family allowance disbursement." I read it twice. There it was, the quiet architecture behind everything. Years ago, when my company went public, I set up a structured family trust, controlled distribution, professional oversight. It was supposed to remove emotion from money, make it clean, predictable, sustainable. The allowance had been my idea. No one in the family handled the details. They just received. I had never once declined it. The manager followed up, saying, "Waiting your authorization." In that moment, something shifted, not in the room, but in me. My mother's voice replied, "We're not your bank anymore." It wasn't cruel, it wasn't hysterical, it was definitive. I realized she believed it. She believed they were the ones tolerating me, supporting me, extending grace, and I had allowed that narrative to live, not because it was true, but because correcting it felt aggressive. My thumb hovered over the screen longer than I'd like to admit. This wasn't revenge. This was structure. I typed one word, denied. Then I locked my phone and returned to the meeting. The reaction didn't explode, it contracted. 3 missed calls from my father that evening, 1 text from my mother. There seemed to be an issue with the account. No accusation, just confusion. I waited until the next day to respond. "There's no issue. I've restructured the distributions. If there's a specific expense, submit it formally." That was it. Professional, clear. The allowance stopped. Not forever, technically, just indefinitely. The next month, there were no new cars, no renovation projects, fewer dinners out. I heard about it indirectly from relatives who were surprised at the sudden tightening. No one mentioned my name publicly, but privately the tone shifted. My father asked to meet for coffee. Neutral ground. He looked older than he had a week before. "We didn't realize," he said quietly. I nodded, not in agreement, just acknowledgement. There wasn't a speech from me, no moral lesson. I didn't recount the years of transfers, the quiet covering of deficits. I just said, I'm happy to support specific needs, not expectations. He understood the distinction, whether he liked it or not. My mother didn't apologize, she adjusted. That's the word I'd use. Her messages became careful, logistics-based, polite. The sharp certainty from that night never returned, and she never again said they weren't my bank because now the architecture was visible. Power didn't flip dramatically, it clarified. I still fund medical emergencies, I still invest in the education accounts for younger cousins. Those decisions come through the manager now, structured, transparent. There's less warmth in the house when I visit, but there's also less weight on my shoulders. Breaking generational entitlement didn't make me feel powerful, it made me feel separate. And that separation is quiet. No one announces it at family dinners, no one references the allowance anymore. But when I walk into that house now, no one tells me to get out. They don't have to. We all understand the terms.